Hi Gems, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you may have noticed, I am one of the few professionals creating this type of content specifically for Barbados. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Your support really makes a difference. Let's start at the very beginning, which means breaking down exactly what you need to know about registering your business name in Barbados as an individual. A sole trader is one individual trading as a business. This person is usually considered to be self employed insofar as the business is owned and run by that individual. When a single applicant registers a business name at Barbados' Corporate Affairs and Intellectual Property Office, commonly referred to as CIPO, that person is considered to be a sole trader. Under this particular structure, the person who registers the business remains personally liable for the debts of the business, which means that if the business's debts cannot be paid, your personal assets may be at risk. However, this is the easiest, fastest, and most affordable business structure to set up in Barbados, which is why it's also the most common. You're most likely to see this type of structure used by low risk businesses, hairdressers, plumbers, nail techs, butchers, and so on. But it could be used by anybody, provided they're prepared to accept the risk associated with unlimited liability. As a general rule, if you're using anything other than what appears on your birth certificate to trade, you should register that as a business name at the very least. But before you rush down to CIPO, there are a few practical things you can do to make sure that the name you want to register is actually available. I encourage my clients to do a quick Google search your favorite social media platforms, but most importantly, visit CIPO's website and search their database. Go right ahead and see whether there is a business that's already registered that has the same or a similar name to the one in which you are interested. Once that is out of the way, all you need to get started with this particular structure is at least one form of government issued ID, 104 Barbados dollars. You need to be at least 18 years old, of sound mind, and not a bankrupt. Once you complete your application for registration in the correct way, your business should be registered in due course. I hesitate to give you a specific time frame here only because it can vary. It really depends on what's going on at CIPO. And I should mention just for completeness that CIPO is in the process of going digital. Another really important thing to keep in mind is that technically you really should register your business name within 14 days of beginning operations. It actually says that in the relevant act. CIPO facilitates registrations of business names provided that the name you want to register is acceptable to the registrar. What I mean by this is that you can't use prohibited names. So you can't use names that might suggest to the public that your registered business name is something other than that. So for example, you can't include the word company or limited, insurance or reinsurance or anything like that in the name that you're seeking to register. Once all is well with your application for registration, CIPO will process your documentation and then issue a certificate of registration. In my opinion, the most critical thing about this particular structure, as I mentioned before, is that registration of a business name does not create separate legal personality. So after registration of the business name, the liabilities of the business remain the liabilities of the individual that registered the business name. Having said that, however, this particular structure does come with its major benefits, and these include less paperwork to get started, easier registration process, fewer tax and reporting obligations, relatively low registration fees. It's a simplified form of business ownership, and it basically gives you the option of having a more marketable name than the one you were born with. On the other hand, unlimited liability is a very important factor to consider. Investment and other sources of finance may also be a little bit more difficult depending on the source. And of course, for the purposes of tax, the registered business name and its owner are treated as one and the same, which subjects the business's income to personal tax rates as opposed to the corporate tax rate, which is currently lower. But this also means that personal allowances and deductions can also be used. Speaking of taxes, a sole trader is considered to be self employed. So if you haven't already done so, you need to register with the BRA and the NIS. Depending on whether or not you have employees, you may also need to register with the BRA to remit PAYE and also with NIS as an employer. While your VAT status depends on the volume and nature of your business activities. Each lesson in my Getting Started Barbados Business Names course was designed to build on the foundation of this video, providing further information, forms, precedents, tutorials, contact information, and detailed explanations for everything I've just said. So you know what to do. If you haven't done it already, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and stay updated with everything I post.